Welcome, everyone. Greetings to everyone who's here with us live this evening. Thanks for joining us. My name is Fiona Weeks, and I'm honored to have been invited here tonight by these incredibly talented artists to facilitate a cross-border conversation and help this beautiful film, AMUCHA, to reach new and wider audiences. The presentation of this film and this panel discussion that you're seeing now is organized by Epeuma Audiovisual, a collective of artists from Chile and Wallmapu, the ancestral lands of the great Mapuche nation located in the southern regions of Chile and Argentina. The film you saw this evening, AMUCHA, is actually the second short film featuring marionettes or puppets produced by the Apeuma collective. The first, Nahuel, is also about a Mapuche story and made its debut in 2015. Now I'd like to introduce our panelists. First, we have Tomas Orion, actor and artist behind the marionettes you saw in AMUCHA, who is joining us from Santiago of Chile. Welcome, Tomas.
Hello, nice to see you, everyone. I'm so glad to be here.
And next, we have Jesus Sanchez, director of AMUCHA, joining us from Mapuche territory in the south of Chile. Hola, Jesus.
Hola, Fiona. Hello. How are you? Nice to be here from this day, about this day, show AMUCHA to all the world in language, English. I'm so glad.
Thank you. And finally, we are so excited to have with us tonight Kevin McTurk, an acclaimed director of films, including many featuring marionettes. Hello, Kevin.
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me. It's such an honor to be here for the premiere and meet these gentlemen.
Yes, thank you. So for my first question, I'm actually going to go to you, Kevin, because you were not involved in the production of AMUCHA. So what are your first impressions?
This film, I was so floored by this film. It is gorgeous and tells a wonderful story. And the photography, the puppeteering, every aspect is wonderful. And I was telling the guys before we started that I just love how they approached it as if they were shooting a live action film on location with natural lighting and it just felt like such a pure, wonderful experience to see this film.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And thank you for joining us for the premiere. So my next question is kind of for the whole panel, but the characters in the film have really incredible movements and interactions that they have between them. There's so much more than just static puppets. So what are the challenges that you encounter when making puppets for film? So let's go to Tomas first.
Hey, well, I was thinking about that. Actually, I'm an actor, so I came from the world of the theater. I'm very well, in this film I realized that there's a huge difference between like the lens and the camera and the work for that and the theater, because in a play there's at least like 10 or 20 meters between the puppets and the public, or maybe more, so when I'm making puppets for theater, it's like more in a impressionist way, doing like some brush strokes to make it more dramatic, and the audience will didn't notice that there's not like this fine details, like they will see like just the spots, so what we did we was like in a experiment, like all this was an experiment. We did the puppets with the whole company. We made it together, so we were like just trying to make something beautiful but at the same time expressive. And I realized, and I really liked some of the things that happen in this project, because there's something brought from the theater to the cinema, that it's the expressions, the expression that we designed for, especially the grandpa. I think his face, it's very like a mask, a theatrical stuff, And it maybe I was very worried because it could be like too hard, you know, like too hard lines, you know. But I realized that it worked, you know, like we made how to say it, como Fiona, como una estética, se generó una estética completa.
An
de la-
aesthetic. Mhm.
Yeah. So I like it because I was thinking something more realistic, you know, but in the making, that's what we could do, and I think it's lovely. It works. Well, actually, we want to do more films and make better mechanisms and have more fine stuff, you know. But for our it's my first film, you know. It was a very, very good experience.
Yeah, thanks. What about you, Kevin? What challenges do you encounter?
Well, I think these guys will agree. When you take a puppet out onto a location into the wild and try to hide puppeteers and also, you know, perform these puppets in these settings, and you're fighting nature and you're fighting, you know, the waves and the wind and everything like that. They pull it off, and I think that's one of the great challenges. I think what I also shared with him was when I did my first puppet film, I treated it very much like a theatrical presentation, and I didn't care if people saw puppeteers and rods and things like that. And as I continued making films, I tried to hide puppeteers more and rods more. And so, you know, that's always a challenge, is when you're shooting, where do you hide the puppeteer and still tell the story? And I think these guys pulled it off so well. What are some other challenges? I think when we watch these puppet films and we just little gestures that they do, it can be the tiniest little gesture, but I think we all collectively as an audience, we're on board. We are kind of locked into the story when you know, when we see these little gestures and movements. And I think these guys just did it so well.
Yeah, absolutely. Even the like the eyes blinking and the timing and things like that, it does it just really pulls you in. Absolutely.
I want to say something about that because you were talking about the hard stuff, like hiding the actors, you know. And there's a lot of funny stories about the filming, you know. They were like very in the cold, you know, like in cold water, like submerged and trying to operate the mouth of the puppets even in the waves, you know. Like it was very hard stuff just for a few seconds of a shot, you know. So this is part of well, Jesus is the director. He was very like trying to design, you know, like how to make it and to choose where to put the puppets, where to put the people, and to make the balance, you know, for the scene. And I think this is a lot of work, and it's invisible, you know, like people, it doesn't think about that when they're seeing the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jesus, this film was your vision and your creation. So can you tell us about the motivation and the major themes that you really wanted to shine through in AMUCHA?
Yeah, of course. I wrote something here. Okay. In addition to the puppets, our film seeks to install two very necessary motivations for today's times. First, education towards the protection of the environment in the native state. And this is where we enter the content of AMUCHA. Within the cosmovision of the indigenous Mapuche people, the Lafkenche people are the Mapuche natives who lives near the sea. where we have lakes and rivers facing the Pacific Ocean. And it is the knowledge of the Mapuche culture about how we have to relate to the environment. And it is one of the greatest motivations. They have a concept called Itrofil Moñen, and that refers to promoting and working for the balance of the biodiversity. That's it. That is all species without exception in balance. That is Itrofil Moñen, the concept Mapuche. This is about respect and how we move the center from the anthropocentrism, making a transition to biocentrism. That's it.
Wonderful, thank you. And I'm curious, Jesus, it's a beautiful vision, and I think it really comes through in the film. Why puppets to bring that vision to the screen?
Tomás, can you?
Yeah, I can answer that question. There's something very important that we realized doing this work. Because we're working with our original nations. No, how was the term? I don't remember.
Nation?
First Nations. We're working with our First Nations. So actually, Chile is like an invader of the territory. Like Chileans, we're not. It's not a beautiful story, So yeah. So it was hard to make a film about these people with actors from the Chilean actors trying to do like they were from First Nations. It will be like for the people, for the real people, for Mapuche people, it's not comfortable to see it. But when it's made with puppets, it's very different, and it's like honoring them, not making fun of them. There's no way to misunderstood the sense of it. So I think that's why the puppets were very, very good on all this stuff, because we're working with our First Nations, and it's a way to be like respectful with them,
Interesting, thank you so much.
Fiona, yo quería decir algo. ¿Puedes traducirme?
Yes.
Yeah,
I'd like to say something. Can you translate? Absolutely, go ahead.
Ok, solo quería como la lengua mapuche se llama Mapuzungún, y Mapuzungún significa Mapu, tierra, Zungún, habla, el habla de la tierra.
The language of the Mapuche people is called Mapuzungún, and I'm sorry, I probably didn't pronounce it exactly correctly.
Mapuzungún.
Mapuzungún, and it means like the tongue of the land.
The land speaks.
The land speaks.
Entonces es una lengua para relacionarse no solo entre personas, es una lengua de transmisión oral.
So it's a language not only for people to communicate between themselves, but to communicate orally.
Sí, y comunicarse con entender. El Mapuzungún también es entender los animales, es entender las señales que te da la naturaleza. Eso también es Mapuzungún.
It's also for understanding and communicating with the land and with the animals and with nature.
It's a very nice language.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. So Kevin, you also have a very impressive filmography, including work on many well-known films and shows, and you've made at least 4 shorts featuring puppets since 2012. What do you like about making films with puppets?
Well, I think I'm drawn to do stories that take place in fantastic worlds, mostly period, so Victorian. I did 2 that were Victorian, and then the most recent one is samurai. So in my mind, to save money, if I just made costumes that were small on smaller, smaller people, I'd save a lot of money, and the sets that I have to build are smaller. So, and then I always like to have fantastic, cool creatures in the film. So both my second and third film, I had full-size actors in creature suits chasing after puppets that were, half their size. So they looked like giants. So my reasons are more just because I love special effects so much, and I work in special effects, so I love building puppets, and so and filmmaking. So it was kind of the perfect combination um, of doing puppet films to, for that reason.
Playing with scale, I love it. Well, I have the privilege to be in conversation with these amazing artists, so I have to know, what are you working on now? So Tomas, let's go to you first.
Okay. Actually, after those first movies we made, Nahuel and AMUCHA, continuing with our experimentation, we're working in a new project called Kuyen Monyele, that it means the life of the moon. It's a very sensitive film about an old woman who will tell her story about femininity and how the patriarchal world have cutted like many important stuff, especially for women, So this is our new project. We're making like new stuff because we've learned like some stuff doing the first movie, so we wanna make an upgrade, So we're now working with more realistic stuff, doing silicone, better mechanisms for the eyes, to make it blink it better, and to have better how to say it, close-ups. We want like honor the camera, because it's different. You can do hair punching and you will see like the little spot, so we're working on that. And actually we're in a platform called idea.me. It's a crowdfunding platform for we're finding for financing for this new project. We want the first kickstart, for making it. And it's been hard. We're still on campaign, trying to find all these resources, but we're in a good way. Things are going good, so we're very happy and very anxious to keep on doing these movies, because it means more than just a movie. It's like to take the origins of the language and on our land that we're living on. So it's very interesting, we're very proud.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Kevin, what are you excited about that you're working on right now?
Well, the most recent film I did, The Haunted Swordsman, and this is one of the characters from The Haunted Swordsman. This is one of the this is the monk that the samurai talks to. We are the screenwriter and we've written 6 more chapters. So this short film was chapter 2 of the 6-chapter story, and we're hoping to raise money or have a studio pay for us to continue the story. In the meantime, my screenwriter friend and I wrote a whole separate one that is kind of a explorer story. It's like a lost explorer story, and that's just not really formed. I kind of I build the puppet first and then kind of figure out the story as I go. So that's in early works too.
exciting. Well, I can't wait to see both of your projects. Jesus, did you want to add anything about what the collective is working on? Are you personally?
Si puedes preguntarme en español.
Sí, claro. Quería saber si querías agregar algo acerca de lo que está trabajando el colectivo tú personalmente.
Ajá. Que estamos muy motivados por que somos un equipo ahora, un colectivo de muchos
I'm very excited
artistas.
about the fact that we're really a team and a collective, and we have a lot of artists.
Ajá. Es muy inspirador porque el cine se construye a partir de muchas disciplinas.
It's exciting because the film is made up of a lot of different disciplines.
Y necesitas para trabajos como estos, necesitas artistas de verdad, que sean luces y que sean muy creativos y que tengan paciencia y ganas de hacer cosas nuevas también.
So to do these kind of projects, you need people who are really artists and using light and being creative and also being willing to try new things also.
No siempre con dinero, sino que más con corazón.
Not always with money, but with heart.
Yo quisiera mostrarles las marionetas y presentárselas a Kevin y a ti, Fiona, también.
Oh, okay. Now we have a surprise for everyone who is joining us here. Jesus would like to introduce us to the puppets that appear in AMUCHA.
Oh, nice.
Hi, Kevin.
That's great. Wow, I love it. Wow. The eyes are great. Wow. And so that material, it's called warbler, is what it's sculpted from. And then the eyes are made. How are the eyes made?
With warbler too. Actually, it's just painting. They're not like in glass or resin, like they should be.
Wow. That's just painted warbler. That's wonderful. Wow, fantastic.
Jesus, how did you say grandpa in Mapudungun? Was it Cheche?
Cheche.
Cheche.
Cheche. And here I have the little child, Alain.
Oh, that's great. It really is all about the eyes, isn't it? Like connecting with the audience. Oh, wow. Fantastic.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm always, I think the eyes are the most important part of a puppet. You know, you can make like anything with a pair of eyes and it's going to be alive, you know? So I'm very always like trying to make them like to watch, to have focus on the glance, like to connect with the, even if the eyes are not like in glass or something, they can like do the work, you know. Actually, I like painting, you know. I'm a painter, so many times I just copy like a realistic painting of a photography, the eye, and it works in many different angles.
And I see you put the highlight, you put like the spot of white in the eyes, right?
Yeah, because they are not like bright. They're not like so we gotta make it shine.
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah, this is like for theater, you know.
I wanted to ask.
Tomás, puedes preguntarle, o sea, Fiona, puedes preguntarle a Kevin cómo él trabaja los mecanismos. Y yo quería mostrar el mecanismo acá. ¿Puedo mostrarlo, Tomás, o no?
El de Alain es más lindo, sí.
Ah, ok.
Kevin, Jesus wanted to know how you work the mechanisms, the mechanics of the puppet.
I wish I had a puppet here, but so there's a hole in the back of the body, and your hand goes in,
Por acá abajo.
In the down in the body though.
In
then,
the body.
And then there's a pistol, like a trigger. And so it's a handle, so you can do this, and it moves the head like this, and then you squeeze the trigger, and that does up and down. So that's that was the. And how did we do it? We did it so when you let go, he wouldn't go like this. He would drop. So you had to squeeze. You had to squeeze to look up, just like an old, like an old guy. Like you have to squeeze to look up, but then you want to naturally. So that way, a puppeteer wouldn't accidentally let go, and the head would look up too fast. I wanted to ask you guys how you did the whale tail, the whale in the water.
It was very simple thing, we made it with the latex and foam, like polyurethane.
Yeah.
And with some cuts on it to make it like move, and with an inner manguera, ¿cómo se dice manguera? Well, with another inner stuff, to make it move.
And how big was it?
It was like
1 meter?
Less than a meter. Yeah,
okay.
Maybe less.
Yeah.
80 centimeters.
So out in the water, is it, did you have people out actually in the water, or is it camera trick? That was really people underneath.
Yeah.
And how cold is the water, and how dangerous is the water?
It's not that dangerous, and we had like a scuba diver,
Yeah.
like doing that part of work,
doing this kind of thing underneath.
Yeah.
Like
he
this.
was like the photography director.
That's
amazing.
and
it became very heavy when the foam was with water inside, like it was very
you had to keep telling him, like, go further out, like keep going out, like
yeah.
Amazing. Well done.
I hope you give him a wetsuit, because that water is very cold.
Yeah.
I bet. The setting is amazing. I mean, those rock formations are just so incredible. And I just was that to get to the location with all the equipment. Did you have to go far, or is that easy to get to?
Well, I wasn't there, so I don't really know, but I know that Jesus like choose the locations at the very beginning. They were thinking on it a lot of time, and yeah, for some of them they had to travel maybe. Jesús, ¿cuán lejos estaban las locaciones?
De 150 kilómetros.
Oh, okay.
Like a 2-hour drive or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are living in the mountain now in Pucón, and we film in the en la costa, in the share, ¿no? ¿Cómo se dice?
Shore, on the shore.
Shore.
For the
Yeah, it looked amazing. And the trouble with California, with Los Angeles, everything looks, you can't find any, like I was trying to make a samurai movie, and everything looks like desert. So you have to kind of find, you have to find locations that look a little bit like Japan. But you really have to search, and everything looks like a West. That's why they made so many Westerns, because it just looks like the West as soon as you drive out, out of the city.
Well, the States, it's a huge country, maybe I'm sure you can find like very different locations, but you gotta have a longer trip,
Yeah, I definitely need to go further next time.
Yeah, we're lucky because here in Chile we have like it's a very weird country because of the shape of the country. So we have the coast and the mountains very close one from the other.
That's
and
right.
we have the desert, we have mountains with snow, we have it's like everything you can imagine, like distributed, So that's a good thing. We got thing to the land, you know.
That's great. That is, it's gorgeous.
Diga.
Fiona, yo quiero hacer una pregunta para Kevin. Es cómo él dimensiona, cómo él mira la realización de cine de puppet films in the world. Cómo él piensa si eso está creciendo o se mantiene como algo borderline, you know, in the cinema films.
Kevin, Jesus has a question for you. He wants to know what you think about the trajectory of puppet films. If you think it's growing or you think it's going to stay as like a very small niche.
I think it goes in waves. But I think there was a Netflix released The Dark Crystal. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah.
That was pretty ambitious, and I think there's more. There's definitely. What's interesting about our films is just that people are so used to seeing just styles of animation, either stop motion or cell animation. And when a puppet film comes along, I think it's so unique. I think it's going to keep growing. I think there's always going to be a need for it. Oh, you have a cat in the background.
Yeah. You are saying es bueno para todos, good for all. The puppet films needs to be growing, because I think the digital cinema is like in the top, you know, it's too much realistic, and the puppet films is like a hybrid, you say, híbrido, with theater, with a live action, a fiction, and other stuffs, you know. So for me, it's like old style of making theater, the puppets, like Grecia, Egypto, you know, so old.
Yeah.
And we are making movies with puppets, so it's very interesting to how we can connect that the emotion who make the puppets in the people who are watching puppet films. It's interesting for me, and the experience who we have, like a team showing the movies.
No.
We're losing Jesus.
It's nice. It's like Fiona. Es como, oh, sorry.
Okay. Good.
It's okay, you're back now. Go ahead.
Okay. Que conecta con una emoción en la persona adulta, es una emoción de niño, de niña, when you was child, the puppets, you know.
I think so.
It's connect that emotion who lives in you.
I agree. I think there is, as soon as you start seeing a puppet film, I think the whole audience, they're you're wondering how they're pulling it off, how they're doing it, right? You're wondering, where are people hiding? How are they doing this? And then you just kind of get lost in the story. And I think what Tomas was talking about, you can tell a story about a culture, and you're not, both of you guys were talking about it, just how, you know, the people of the culture won't be offended, or, you know, I think it's, you can address issues using puppets, and I think it's wonderful. I think it's a great way to tell a story.
Well, thank you. Thanks to be here. You're such a great guy, Kevin. We're very honored to have you here. You know.
Oh, right back to when I saw the trailer for your film a long time ago, and I wanted to know more about it instantly. So I'm so honored that you guys contacted me.
And Kevin, it sounds like you think the Chilean beach is beautiful, so it sounds like you might have to make a trip down to Chile. in the near future.
I saw this. You guys might have seen it. There was the two. Ewan McGregor rode a motorcycle all the way up the Chilean coast. It's on. It was on Apple TV. He and his friends took electric motorcycles and they went from the tip of South America all the way to Los Angeles on
Wow.
motorcycles. So they spent a lot of time in Chile, and it was amazing. Yeah, they had to keep crossing. They had to zigzag all the way up, like through Argentina, Chile, all the way
Yeah.
across.
Nice. It's beautiful.
Sounds
It's
It was
beautiful.
amazing. Yeah.
Great.
Well,
You're
this
invited,
was
just-
such. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I'm just saying you're invited to come whenever you want.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. And please visit Los Angeles and
Yeah, of course.
come see our studio and everything.
Whoa, that would be amazing.
Fiona as well, please, if you're in Los Angeles.
Thank
Stop
you.
by.
I appreciate it. I'm more of an art appreciator than an artist, but I'm delighted. Well, this was such a treat. Thank you all so much for joining us for this conversation. And we want to let those in the audience know that the short film will be available for the next 48 hours, free for anyone who wants to watch it. And this conversation will be recorded and available for all posterity. So thanks again, everyone. Take care and have a great evening.
Thanks to you, Fiona.
Thank
You're the
you.
best.
Thanks, Fiona. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Jesus. See you.